to the Wall Street Geek, where we ask not what your inner geek can do for you, but ask what you can do for your inner geek, like becoming better informed about important money matters. Now first, everyone knows the great Muhammad Ali, who famously said, "Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee." He's a champion boxer, so you'd think that someone that successful also loved the journey to becoming successful. Actually, not all the time. He once said, "I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit, suffer now, and live the rest of your life as a champion." He had a plan to become the heavyweight champion of the world, and even though the plan involved making sacrifices and enduring some pain, he knew that suffering was temporary and being heavyweight champion was a legacy that would last forever. To me, this is a similar journey as becoming wealthy. Even though we're in a time when reality and viral video stars become wealthy overnight, the probability of that happening to you and me is still low. So our plan to become wealthy still involves some suffering, some sacrifices, perhaps being more frugal than we'd like to be, but it's worth it when at retirement age you can get out of the rat race comfortably, which leads us to today's topic. Today's topic is the fundamentals of wealth creation. In other words, amassing enough wealth so that you and perhaps future generations don't have to stay in the rat race your entire lives. Most books discuss wealth creation from a mental point of view. In other words, having the discipline to save money, to pay yourself first, and to work hard and persistently like Muhammad Ali. All of that's true, but being a Wall Street geek, I'm going to discuss wealth creation from an investment strategy point of view, with 4 key investment principles for amassing wealth over the long term. Without understanding how to use these principles in your favor, it may take you longer to get to the point where you don't have to wake up at 4 a.m. and commute for 2 hours and sit in the gray cubicle all day. So if that's not motivation, I don't know what is. First, where are you putting your money? Now there's a reason why IRAs and 401ks are encouraged when it comes to saving for retirement, which is a long-term process. They're encouraged because these accounts are non-taxable. In other words, when an investment inside of these accounts creates additional cash for you, like a dividend or capital gains, you won't be taxed today, which means more money in your pocket to invest for tomorrow. Now, since the account itself is tax advantaged, you want to avoid tax advantaged investments in a tax advantaged account. For example, municipal bonds whose interest income is tax-free are great outside of a non-taxable account, but a tax-free investment inside of a tax-free account is synonymous to wearing football padding in a padded room. Padding on one renders the padding on the other useless. Plus, the yield on tax-advantaged investments is usually lower, so avoid putting those types of investments in a tax-advantaged account if you can. Next, start early. Now, why is it important to invest today and not tomorrow? You're probably thinking that it's because of compound interest. Now look it up. Compound interest applies to money in interest-bearing accounts, like money markets or savings accounts, and that's not where you want to keep your long-term savings, because the interest on those accounts typically doesn't average above the rate of inflation over time. So as the price of goods and services go up, the value of your savings in these types of accounts may not meet or exceed that, causing your savings to lose purchasing power. $1 when I was a kid could buy 10 stamps. If I put that dollar in a lockbox, today I could buy maybe 2 stamps with that same dollar. However, if I invested that dollar maybe 20 years ago, I may be able to still buy 10 stamps today with it, which is why we look to sensible and appropriate investments in the stock market for retirement savings where returns have historically outpaced inflation and enabled your long-term savings to not lose purchasing power. Over the long term, the market has trended upward. So if you're a long-term investor, you have the luxury of time for your investments to recover from market crashes, such as the most recent crash that began in 2007. The longer you're in the market, the more good days you'll catch as well. As an investor, you want to catch the periods when the market surges. Unfortunately, we can't predict when that will occur. So if you're sitting on the sidelines waiting for your time to get into the market, that may mean a difference between getting a double-digit overall return versus a return that barely keeps you above the rate of inflation. It's not timing in the market, it's time in the market that makes your long-term wealth creation plan ultimately successful. Next, don't think that you need thousands of dollars to start amassing wealth. It's actually less risky to not put a large percentage of your savings into the market at once, and to instead leverage a technique called dollar cost averaging, or pound cost averaging, depending on your currency. It's a technique where you invest a fixed amount of money over time, instead of investing it all at one time. For example, say that you have $500 and you want to invest it in stock ABC, which today costs $15 per share. If you invest your $500 today, you'd buy approximately 33 shares of ABC, not counting commissions or fees. Now, what happens if the market goes down tomorrow and keeps going down? Well, you've got a problem. However, if you decide to invest $50 per month over 10 months, you may buy 3 shares of ABC today, and you may be able to buy 5 shares of ABC next month for the same amount if the price of ABC falls. Over time, you may be able to purchase more than 33 shares of ABC with your $500 as the price of ABC fluctuates. Dollar cost averaging is also a great concept because what if you don't have $500 to invest today? It's encouraging to know that you can start investing with less money and build up your portfolio over time in a less risky way with the benefit of time in the market on your side. Finally, get your investments to work together and not against each other. The concepts of portfolio risk and return are a little more advanced than the previous concepts. However, if you don't pay attention to your portfolio's average rate of return and overall level of risk, you may not meet your long-term wealth objectives. For example, a rough estimate of the return that you need in order for your money to double in a given period of time can be found with the Rule of 72. It's actually more applicable to fixed rates of interest, but it can still be a tool in your belt for roughly determining how much return your portfolio needs to provide to you in order for your assets to grow on the timeline that you need. If you divide 72 by the historical average rate of return of your basket of investments, you'll have the number of years it may take for your money to double. Now, past performance of investments like stocks doesn't equate to future performance, but the past gives you insight into how a stock may perform in the future. Advisors like myself use software to analyze and calculate investments' past performance and rate of return. Risk is another area that everyday investors may not consider. In 2007, if your portfolio only had technology and financial stocks, you probably lost your shirt when the market tanked because both of those sectors are highly volatile. However, if you had more diversification in your portfolio and held dividend-paying investments like blue chips, that part of your portfolio may have prevented your entire portfolio from free-falling. Now, as you get closer to the point of needing the money that you have invested, your portfolio's risk should lower so the market volatility doesn't severely impact your savings so close to when you no longer have time to stay in the market. Once again, advisors like myself leverage techniques that enable us to tweak the risk profile of your portfolio to provide the return that you need at the right level of risk. Each principle by itself shouldn't be too difficult to grasp, but putting them together is the tricky part. So in my next video, I'll show you how to put these concepts together towards creating your own wealth creation plan, along with important guidelines such as understanding how you'll start to spin down and live off your investments after you've left the rat race. Building wealth has become less intimidating after witnessing lottery winners, reality stars, and YouTube celebrities rocket to riches overnight. But even those people spent years diligently scratching tickets, posting videos, or facing rejection while they attempted to become wealthy. And only a small percentage of those folks hit it big. So with that in mind, while you're persistently buying lottery tickets, also put some money away into your non-taxable account, and over time, when you realize that you're not going to be the next Justin Bieber, you'll at least have the wealth that you diligently cultivated to fall back on. I hope to see you next time when I'll show you how to put these ideas together towards creating your own wealth creation plan. Until then, this is the Wall Street Geek, hoping that this helps you to live long and profit. Thanks for watching and take care. Bye.